Alrighty, we have this. We want to make it look like this. And what we also want to do is we want to be able to go to not a member yet and have it look like that. And then we want to start making users. We want to start getting into this. We want to start making a website. That's what we want to do. If you look, this is the main. We're going to keep it open for now because we never know. We might have screwed something up. But if you look, there's this thing here in the Fuel app. It's called routes. Now, if you go to configure as well, you'll see there are certain things we want to include here, and date time and stuff like that. The date time zone's not a big deal. Security. One thing about FuelPHP is they say there's a lot of good security features that they have here, but what we want is we want the always load. We want to comment this in. We want to put in the packages. We're going to be doing the ORM, but really the ORM is not a big deal. But these are just arrays. As you can see, they're called arrays. You can conjure arrays in this way. You could just put the brackets. I usually just put the brackets. But we're going to change that configuration. We're going to put that in that way. And we're going to add the ORM, or object remote mapping, whatever. We're going to add that in there, even though, as I've said, it's really not any kind of difference. I want to make sure that I put, okay, let's see, packages, array, ORM. What's the problem? Something got commented out, and it shouldn't always load. They give you so many errors with this thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, just look at all the reds and yellows. It's not supposed to look like that, but for whatever reason, Visual Studio Code has a problem with FuelPHP. I don't know why. It's like nothing loads right. It's so weird. Anyway, okay, always load. Ready. Am I missing? I'm not missing another. I just commented out stuff. I mean, this says that there's something wrong here. Well, we'll double check. It'll give us an error. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Line 75. No security output filter defined in your application comment. No. 75 is all the way up here. But I don't think it's 75 here, though. Hold on. What did I do? Let's see. But again, if you want to do the ORM with the database, nah, fuck that. Let me comment that out again. We're not up to that yet. Let me just undo this. No. Let's keep that commented out for now. Let's just do that. We'll do that later. Okay. But anyway, so when we get to the ORM, we're going to comment out certain things or comment in certain things that we need. But as of now, we'll just put that away. But anyway, if you look, you have routes. The routes here will show you the 404 page not found route. It'll show you a presenter route when things don't come up the way they're supposed to. They have presenters in FuelPHP, which are kind of interactive or dynamic error messaging or certain page messaging, whatever. We're not going to really worry about that right now. But our root is welcome index. If we go to the views and you see, no, I'm sorry, public. If we go to the public, no, hold on. If we go to the classes and we go to controllers, right? If we go to welcome.php, you'll see this is the welcome, the action, hello, action index. Everything in FuelPHP has to have an action in front of it. So you can't do a public, like you can do a post index or a post or a get index if those specific pages are specifically posting or getting. Action just means it could be either one. But you have to put action in. If you don't put action index, if you just put index, right, you're going to get some weird ass message that says it's not here. And you're going to say, wait a minute, hold on. I went to my routes. I saw that I have a route welcome index. I went to my views. I went to my welcome. Yeah, views is right here. Sorry. It's not in public. It's in your app. App views. I went to welcome. I went to index. It's here. Look, see, look, index. And you're yelling at the editor, and you're yelling and you're saying, you fucking asshole, it's right here. The reason is because you didn't put in action. You have to put in action index. So FuelPHP knows that it's actually doing something. Simple. Now, we could just make a new page and we could call it sign in whatever. Or we can take what we have here and we can just make it our own. So for instance, if we say, see here, it says this, that, and the other thing, footer and all that stuff, we can go like this and just say, no, we don't want any of that crap. We want to get rid of all this. Bam. Not there. And you go, okay, now I don't want any of this crap in your column mids and your bootstrap. Get that out of there. Bam, gone. But even if we get rid of all of this, every last bit of it is gone, including the styling, which is a lot of styling. If you notice, and we're going to change the title to sign in below. We have sign below and we have nothing. We don't have that background. Why not? We didn't put the main CSS in there. But if you notice what they do a PHP echo asset. What FuelPHP does is it makes everything into a class. It's not an object, it's a class. This is the name of the class and it's calling a function in that class. That's what we're doing. So we're just basically straight up class. It's not object-oriented programming, it's just class definitions. So we don't want Bootstrap CSS, we want our CSS, and we're just gonna, this is just the same as echo. It's the same thing. And we're gonna go asset, double colon, for the functionality in the class CSS, and we're going to name our main.css. If we do that, and we hit, if you notice, now we have that blue that we made. There you go. Now, we also want the asset of the home.css. We don't have any JavaScript going on at this point. And we want to then start building it. Now, what did I do? What did you notice that I did before? Div class, right? I said background, and I said wrapper. Do I have the wrapper class in there? I don't think I do. No, I don't. Okay. Let's put wrapper in there. .600 pixels. Border radius. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Width 0. No. Margin. Sorry. 0 auto. And margin top. We'll say 10 pixels. Now I can call those classes. I can say background wrapper. And we're going to name it, we're going to class it up as sign in wrapper. So that we know the distinguishable when we actually do put together the page for this, or the styling for this, we know this is called the sign in wrapper. And then we have the header 3 class that we called main heading. And we're going to let FuelPHP, we're going to let CSS do the sizing itself. We're not going to tell it what size it should be. Sign in below. Since these big websites like to all copy Google and they just do the same thing. Amazon is not Google, not that I know of, not yet. You never know. And then we're going to just put our divs, classes of form area, And we're going to do this. And then we're going to put in an input type of text placeholder, username, name, because we're doing, oh yeah, I forgot to put the form. Sorry. Form action equals, the action is where the form is sending the information to. We're going to send it back to this page. Public. That's it. That's all we got to do. And then method is, are we posting, we getting? Are we sending the information, or are we taking information? We're sending it, so it's method of post. And then we're going to close out this form. Now we already styled the form overall, so we don't have to worry about styling the form anymore. Every form is going to be the same style. Name is going to be username. And we're going to do a, I don't want to do a max length, but we're going to do a class of main input. And then we're going to go class on the paragraph of error. And we're going to close that off, and I'm going to just do one of these. And we're going to give it, and we're going to just do that. And I do that to make sure that it looks good, that it fits in the right space. And we'll do another form area. And we're going to go like that. Do input type of password so that it gets blocked out. We can always use JavaScript to flip back and forth. Password class equals main input. Where if you have the eye icon and click on it, it then changes it to a text. If not, then it stays a password. And then we're going to go div class equals button area. All right. And we're going to say, we're going to have an input type of submit. I will never submit. And we're going to give it a class of main button. We're going to give it a name, because when you do submit buttons, you give them names, and this name will be sign in. And the value, which is what's going to be showed, is going to be sign in. And then we're going to go with another class outside the form, which is going to be called, another div class, which is going to be called sign in link. And that is so we can have some space. See how much space we need. And that we're going to go ahref equals ecom regis public. Just get used to typing that in with these. Again, you can make your own virtual server with XAMPP. It never works for me, so I don't want to. And the class is going to be main link. And it'll say, oh, not a member, question mark. And that's that. So now if we hit save and we go like this, bam, we have a form. And I want this to actually be lower. Yeah, hold on, let me go over here. Let me go back to my main. And let's not put a margin top, let's just do that. And when we go back to styling the page, we'll push that. So now the only styling we need to really do is move this link over and move that down. That's it. That's all we have to do. And now we are at what time? 14 minutes. Okay. And now if we want, we can make this register. If we go to the welcome, this is one way that you can post the view. We don't need this. We don't have a register, so we're going to make one here, register. Another way you could do it is you can just go, you can just kind of forge. The forge is a function that's universal in FuelPHP. It basically just means make, more or less. So when you forge something, it more or less just, like, wait, hold on. I'm doing the wrong thing. it just puts it all together. It basically is like a one-stop shop. Let me just double check. Oh yeah, it's because it's templating. It's different. Yeah, we'll get back. We'll get into templating again later. So we'll just do it this way for now. Oh, and then we'll just do return, response, forge, view, forge, register, welcome, register. Okay. So response class has the function forge in it, which is probably piggybacking off another one. And it creates a response through this view, which has the forge as well, which then creates the HTML into what we want it to be. Now, we have our, where's my welcome there? We have that. We got to make a new file called register.php, and the register.php is going to, let's see, it's going to do the same thing. We're going to do the doc type, HTML, excuse me. Let me get meta char set right. It's not doing this automatically like it usually does. Eight. And then we're just going to do the asset again. Create a CSS for main.css. I don't put templates to this because they're just individual pages. That should be home.css. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. And the title will be register below. Now, let's make another form. Let's go div class equals wrapper background. We've already created those. I say register and then I say sign up. Same thing. They're synonymous. It's in the English language. H3 class equals main heading. Sign up below. This is more for synergy than anything else. And then we make a form class. Nope, no class. Action equals ecom public. And now this page. You can have like a separate page and then just have it go there. I'll explain to you why later on we don't do that. It really doesn't make any difference. There are some frameworks that have a specific conventioning for where to load the data, where to store the data, stuff like that. We don't have to worry about that with Fuel. Like Cake is strict with that kind of crap. I like Cake though. Cake's not bad. I'm not big on Fuel. Fuel's alright, but there's just too many easy things that makes it difficult for some reason. Now, wait a minute. Let's look at users. What do we have for users? We have first name, last name, email, username, and password. And role we're going to do ourselves. First name, last name. So let's do first name, placeholder. No, not placeholder. Equals first name. Class equals main input. P class equals error, and we'll do the same thing as we did before. And let's make sure it looks good. Div class equals form area. Div. The one thing I do like, and we'll get into that, is I do like the way they do validation. Validation's very easy in FuelPHP. It's a different convention to what you're used to, more or less. It's almost like Laravel. Laravel is my favorite. That's my favorite framework. If I didn't create my own frameworks, I would definitely use Laravel all the time. Now, my frameworks are not as intricate as these, but yeah, that's the thing you have to realize. It's not just so much that you're learning how, or you're working on frameworks in the sense that you're learning how to use object-oriented programming and everything. You're learning how to use somebody else's version of object-oriented programming, because frameworks are essentially just somebody else's systems. You have to learn how they do things. So many times I would say to myself, oh, I would do this, that, and the other thing, but then I go, wait a minute, how does this framework make me do these things? Like that's the thing you have to understand. And as I said before, one thing about techies, they try to act like they want everything to be simple, but then they try to act like they're smarter than everybody else by making everything difficult. So you can't just conjure things up. You have to understand object-oriented programming first. And then you have to understand how they do object-oriented programming. So if you find it that it's difficult to keep up with certain frameworks, it's not that you're not a good programmer or coder. It's that you don't really understand how or why these specific people did these specific things in the manner in which they did them. So do not despair. First you got to learn what they're using, and then you got to learn what they're using in the way that they're using it. Then we want to have the two passwords. There's a little bit of a space there. We're going to go into the error. I just want to get this started, and then in the next video we'll go into the database, the models, the database table setup, and we'll go into the error checks and stuff like that. Once we get through all this and initial shit, and everything else is going to just kind of fall into place. Don't worry. This is just the beginning. Okay, and p class equals error. Now, we have all that. Let's get our button area in there. Div class equals button area. And then, see, I missed when it closed itself out. I'm so sick of this. Hopefully it didn't screw up everything else. Yeah, that's input type equals submit. Yeah. Name equals register. Class equals main button. And value equals register. Just keep changing the names, man. And then outside this form, we're going to put in a div class equals sign up link. And then we'll just go like this. I could just put it in the form, but that, yeah, I might as well do that. Ecom public class equals main input. Already amended. And then we'll go like that. All that, and what do we have? You know what we have? You know what we have? An error! No! You know why? Because you didn't put in the route. This is where learning about this stuff is important. I like to show you what to do wrong first, so then you can say, oh yeah. So now we want to make this register, and that's what we want the link to be called, register. And then we want, I don't think you need the line, but we'll double check. And then we want it to be welcome register. This is actually really easy too. This array is looking for what the name, see? What the name of the URL is, and then what function in the class you're looking for. So we're looking for the welcome controller register function, right? And there you go. Now, as I said, we want to kind of, wait a minute, what is that? We go back here, and then we go here, and then we go back here, and we go, that's not the main input, the main link, hold on a second. Oh, not main input, main link. Should have known. Okay. Already remember. Fun. See, isn't this great? Spend all that time, and that's what you got. But now we want to go to home CSS, and we'll say thing the styling for the home pages, and then we'll do sign in page, and we'll just go sign in wrapper, and we'll say margin top, and I'm going to go 10%. And then we'll go sign in link, and we'll say with, I go more. 0. Okay, let's see what we got there. And it's a little bit too low. We'll do 5%. That's better. So it's almost centered, but it's not really. And then for the register, we'll do the same thing. For sign up page. We'll do the same thing, sign up wrapper, margin top, and we'll say, same thing, 5%. And sign up link, and we'll go with 5 pixels. We'll go margin 0 auto, and when we hit refresh, bam. Now that's what we have so far. Actually, I think I could just do a 10 per pixel. We'll just do that because this thing's a little bit bigger. That's what she said. 20 pixels, 20, final answer, 20. And there we go. That's what we have so far. What we're going to do next is we're going to get the functionality down for the sign-in register, and we'll do the validation checks. We'll do all that next time, and whatever else we can fit in there. But I will see you then.